killing robot. So what it needed to do was it needed an eye. So to make an eye for this thing, I got the color sense. When you had like your cell phone, there's a little light sensor on it. I bought a bunch of those little light sensors, and what I did is I took like in school you've got those little, for like file folders, you've got the little color inserts. I like ripped up the color inserts and put them over the light sensors, and then I had like red, green, and blue. So I made an eye basically with a bunch of light sensors with different colors and 2 solo cups strapped together. So it was like here are the 2 cups, kind of like this, stuck together and then taped together, and then one hole in the front, and then all the light sensors on the back rigged up to different buses, so I could actually see color based on the voltage being passed over. And so I rigged up all these like red and green targets, and like the red ones were terrorists and the green ones were civilians. And I had to navigate around that maze that we had to have a navigate around on. But whenever it saw a red target, it would just like keep firing at the target. It made all the targets paper, so it would the airsoft pellets would just annihilate the shit out of this thing. But our car had a problem. You see, infrared sensors on the front, basically, infrared sensors have like a range. So ours were about 2 to 3 feet with a minimum range of about 3 inches or 4 inches. So basically how IR sensors work is you have a voltage that gets passed back to the microcontroller based on how far something is away. So if it's like up here, you're going to get like a voltage of 0, and then it comes closer, 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 and then it goes to like 1. And then as soon as it gets within like the range that it has no idea, it's like undefined what it is, because the IR comes back and it's just like garbage data if it's too close. So what happened was I didn't code it very well, and when it was too close, it would just like, it wouldn't know where the hell anything was. So of course my robot car in the final exam comes whipping around a corner, and he runs straight into a civilian like target, just slams into it, and the civilian target gets caught on the front of the car. And so what ends up happening is the car like detects this as a problem, and I set it so whenever there was like a really bad problem, that it would just like start firing with guns, right? And it would reverse back and forth trying to shake this thing off. So it runs into like the first civilian. I pitched this whole scenario. This is like a hunter-killer robot, trying to save these green targets. It runs into the first green target. It gets caught on the car. This thing starts unloading hundreds of BBs into the freaking civilian, and just like annihilates this thing while ramming it into the wall over and over again, until this poor paper target, which is this cardboard box, is just crushed and falls off the front. And then the car calmly backs up and continues on the maze and does what it's supposed to, which is posts up in front of the terrorists and blows the target up, and then moves on. And the professor's just like, he sees this and he just loses it. Just he's gone. He's just laughing his ass off. Yeah. And I'm there just like, oh fuck, this is the final exam, and my robot car just murdered somebody. Yeah, I got 100% for that one. The professor loved it so much that he was just like, that was cool. Yeah. Well, we're still compiling. Still compiling. Could write like a book about life and philosophy and just call it Still Compiling. Yeah, nailed it. You would have paid to see that. Yeah, I think The problem was I had to pay, the college for that class. Should have got it for free because I was so entertaining. It was pretty good. Like that's kind of what got me into engineering and stuff like that. Was that you could do cool shit like that. You can actually hook up a microcontroller and make something that does something in reality, and it's really not that hard. And all this stuff is super simple. Like, if you've got a drone, like a drone with 4 rotors, the thing that's keeping it level, um, they're just simple gyroscopes with little voltages on them. That's it. They're really not that complicated. And you just read the voltage over there, and you're like, oh, the voltage is wrong, so we need to apply thrust on this thing, and okay, it writes itself, and the voltage is right. And you're like, oh, well, how does it know to stay 20 meters off the ground? I'd be like, well, we just slap an ultrasonic sensor on the bottom of that thing, and we just read the voltage off of it. The voltage is depending on, the sound wave that comes back and slaps into the microphone, causing a voltage because energy. And then you can build a drone that's, flying around as long as it's got, just basic shitty code on it. And people wonder why things always like go haywire and explode. It's because everything's built on like decks of cards. We're getting close. We're getting close to actually being able to do work. Alright, we're done compiling. Alright, physics. Back to physics. $4.30, yeah, damn. Have fun. And thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk about random things that happened in my life. Where the hell were we anyway? I'm probably gonna have to take a short break here soon. I've been drinking all this energy drink and water. Yeah, that's what I should do. Instead of like playing games and everything, I should just have a Twitch stream that's just me like saying all the bullshit that happens in the game industry. And just ranting for hours and hours about absolutely nothing. And then this one time, I got a job because I beat my producer at Tekken. I mean, these things happen. The games industry is fucked up. Alright, so we are good to go, and we're not crashing and all that, which is great. So, yeah. Game industry exposed. Yeah, I know a little bit too much, actually. Like, the problem is, as a server engineer, like, you get all the access for all the things, and you know all the secrets, and you get called in to help with like big things that explode. Anyway, I'm gonna take about 2 or 3 minutes here, go refill my water bottle, and unfill other things. So I will be back. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, later, Stealth Mountain. Have a good one. Oh man, we lost all the viewers there. Guess story time's the way to go. Let's just spill water all over ourselves. I'm not a slob. I just act like one. Yeah. So where were we before we decided to launch into the past and talk about things that should be left buried? Well, we were setting our entity group based off of our
These companies look to get bigger solely because they're run by business people and not creative people. They don't
yeah, we're setting our entity groups and setting our entity types. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that these are actually being set properly for our stuff, and then we want to make sure that our physics is actually set properly here. You arrived in the middle of the past. Well, we're kind of continuing with like you were here the other day when we were working on FatSack. Basically, we need to make sure that we have the right collision objects, like hit objects or hit objects, and that we have the right collision groups. So like we have different groups of things in the game, like terrain, players, enemies, projectiles, environment objects, like rocks and trees and sticks and other bullshit. We need to make sure that those things are actually there proper. So when we create like an object, we've got this enemy group, this entity group here, and if you can see it, this is like enemy or player. You know, environment is showing up here now because we threw in the enum earlier. So we want to make sure that when we create these things that it's actually set up as it should be. Standard player entity is a FatSack entity, so we're actually making ourselves as an enemy right now? Is that right? Well, let's go take a look at what we're actually getting. So our entity is ET FatSack, and he is definitely an enemy. So we are setting our group. Changing. We're gonna get our enemy map, which has 1, 2, and 3. So game trace channel 12, 13, and 14, as well as 12. So 12, 13, and 14 are enemy body, enemy hit, and enemy attack. And we're going to set that collision map, and it looks like we're setting the map properly. Wait, did we not hit our source flipbook? Alright, so we are going here. And we're coming in, and child physics component, we have a body and we have a body. So we have two body rectangles, is what it looks like. One is a physics body and one is a physics body. We have two physics bodies on FatSack? What the hell? Adam! You rigged it wrong! Actually, I rigged it, so it's my fault. Anyway, so let's just go through and make sure we're setting our collision channel. Our collision channel is ECC Game Trace. ECC Game Trace Channel 4. It is ECC game trace channel 12, which is enemy body. And we are setting the channel properly. That looks good. I told you, it's all your fault, man. So if we go to our standard player proxy actor here, and we look at our shit. Of course, we can't see any of this crap because they're dynamically created components. Let's see, show collision. And that looks right, doesn't it? So let's also take a quick look at let's look at the characters real quick and look at Fat Sack and make sure that we're not absolutely insane. I mean, we know we're insane, but absolutely insane is something different. So idle keyframes, got all that set up. The sprites themselves have the collision data on them. So let's look at these collision objects. We got this one, which is body hit. Well, why the hell we have a body fizz? Yeah, we had two freaking body physics objects on this bullshit earlier. Well, this is obviously wrong. Let's go double check, shall we? Who's lying? Is it me? Oh yeah, and that's the viewport crashing because slate. Karakan, basically what I'm doing is I'm making sure I actually set up all my shit properly, because with programming, basically, you kind of have to build off of known good. Like if you're working on something new and something you did a month ago is broken, there's kind of a chain of trust, a chain of things that need to work properly. Alright, the identifier is hit. I'm obviously just blind as hell. So this is getting set. What's the channel though? The channel is 12 for the inner object. For every child physics component. Yeah, it's these two components that are wrong. So where the fuck did we make these physics components? Alright, so create child physics components are where we make the physics components. So inside of that we are going to we're gonna get child physics components, we're gonna get the object code of the thing. Let's just walk through it. So we got body fizz and body fizz on this thing. So we're setting the object code. Every header setting the identifier. So for every object here, we're setting the identifier. So we're making this, and we're like setting body, and the identifier is hit, and we're attaching that component. So why is nice? Always good to get all the new stuff. So what we need to do here is we also, when we create these child physics objects, should we be going through and grabbing the type lookup for it? I mean, we should be doing that up above, so. Why are there 4 physics components? And why are all the identifiers wrong? What am I doing wrong? Yeah, getting back to my thought earlier, it's more, you have to continue building stuff, you have to have things be stable, and as soon as they become unstable, you start trying to build something new and everything just breaks on you, and it sucks. So our physics components are empty, our objects are this, we're setting the identifiers. So our child physics objects, we have a body here and it's got hit on it. Okay. And the identifier for this guy is physics. Okay, so we do that. And what the hell happened? The identifier on this guy changed. So is this the same physics component on here? We got 2. Yeah, look at this. The pointers are the same. That's not right. So we only have 1 physics body here, is what it looks like, when we should have more. Son of a bitch! What the hell? Okay, so we're gonna have to figure out why the hell that is. So where are we? Flipbook change physics state. Remove all the components that shouldn't exist. Put everything in there. If the object code is the same, otherwise create any that should exist. Alright, so this is all sorts of screwed up. This is not correct at all. Now we added 2, but obviously this this like new object here, I'm looking at it real quick just to make sure. Like what should be happening is the object code is getting detected and then we break out of this, so we're not supposed to add another component if it already exists. Is that what we're doing? But basically our physics components are the same, so this like new object, when we call it, object code for this is -96 blah, and this object is that. Oh yeah, exactly. I made it clear after complaining that it was your fault that it was actually my fault. Well, if I can't debug everything super easily, so object was not found. So what we have to do is Google the answer. Alright, so create new component. Actually, let's because it may be that the object name needs to be unique. Oh yeah, I don't have the logging stuff here. Ugh, all this garbage. So what's happening is this object name is, if this object name already exists, it's doesn't like it. But I'm also seeing online that I shouldn't be just dynamically creating components regardless, as it's an expensive operation on here. So I might have to change this crap all later. Unfortunate. So if we're already making a bad decision, then what we should do is we should make a worse decision. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna, oh man, all the fat sacks of fat sacks. So this name we're going to say is fgood toString plus object. Yeah. Well, it's basically like if this is already a really expensive operation, then, well, we need to make a new string here, and strings are notorious for being not fast. What I'll probably end up having to do is having like a number of physics components attached to the object, and then maybe activating and deactivating them based on need. So everybody's got like a pool of physics objects. So when we make this, our name is going to be blah 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 body. Awesome. So that should be a new physics component on that. And then we're going to go through and make another one which has this blah body name. And we have two physics components, and as you can see, the names are different. So there's a body physics and a body hit, and that's how that works. And we come back in here later for some frickin' reason, and let's see. And we're not duplicating stuff anymore. Basically what this is doing is we're checking every frame there and getting our physics states set up properly. Show collision. And if you can see, earlier we only had two physics boxes. I mean, we only had one. We now got two. Because FatSack needs that other collision box. You can see it's kind of green there, if you can actually see that close. So we're making some frickin' progress. And those are actually, I've got these guys, so they draw different colors based on the type of box. So you can actually see what type of collision object it is. And you can see that it's green and blue. So what we could do is go to the Dashkin, I think it's paper, flipbook, physics object, or what the hell are they called? Yeah, paper physics object.h. Oh, I don't want winntv.ho, you bastard. Alright, paper physics component. So I've got this paper physics scene proxy. And the scene proxy has colors, I believe. Yeah, so we get colors for each channel. So if we had trace channel 12, this is going to be, let's look at F color real quick. Looks like it's, yeah, A. Yeah, it's RGBA. RGBA. So for this one, it's going to be, what is that? Yellowish. And then
let's take a sec to think back.
Where's enemy hit? Enemy attack. So the red one is enemy attack. What colors were these? Looks like greens. We're looking for a green thing. Well, we can just. This is channel 12, so that's going to give us more of a yellowish green. And this one's channel 13, so that's going to give us the opposite of green, kind of that reddish color. So yeah, we've got the right physics boxes. They've got the right types now for what they're doing, so we'll be able to raycast the hell out of things. All right, that's something off the list. So the physics component also, we need to be able to get the physics components and their various pieces and parts at runtime. So how are we going to do that? It looks like the paper flipbook component.h. We've got get collision. Yeah, get physics components is the thing on here. So if we're the entity actor, we're going to want this get physics component call here.
Let's take a second to think back.
And so let's go write that. The reason we're going to want to get the physics components is just because we're going to need them at some point. Alright, so we're going to have to return a reference to a T array anyway, so we're going to need a null array because we need references. We need references. We've already included it, so we'll do that. Just get physics components. Got them. Alright, have fun. Have fun working on the burgers. He's really just leaving because I stopped telling stories. It's good that he's gone because now I can start telling stories about Adam. I don't have any stories about Adam. Because I don't even think we didn't even like know each other, so. I mean, this one time, like, I migrated his server for him, and then I complained about, like, how his server was all set up all screwed up, and how he should feel bad, and he's a bad person. And then he just, and then he didn't say anything else. Because there's just nothing. We just never worked together, like, we only knew each other by name. Hell, I knew more about him through like Newgrounds than I did through work, to be honest. Alright, so physics components have got stuff on them and they are exposed. Let's just make sure with the physics paper physics component.h that we can actually retrieve the type of the channel. No, we need not the type of the channel, but the... If we have the object code and we have the channel, we're gonna need what? The type, the identifier should signify... Ooh, but this is a problem because that data structure does not exist inside of the paper physics component, so we need something that takes the object code and turns the object code into an actual type. Okay, that makes much more sense. That's what I need to do. So I need to take, we need to, why can't everything just be easy? Let's, we want to get object type from code. Didn't we already write that? Yeah, we already wrote that function earlier today. Easy would be boring. Yeah, so get channel for physics type. I want to be able to fetch the object type based on a code. So really, I'm just doing this. Get object type for code. And that way we can also do like get object type for physics components. And slap one of these bad boys in there. Let's make some frickin' progress here. I don't know, what kind of... Easy would be boring, but some things could be easier. And less tedious. less number pencil pushing. Because I'm just kind of working on boilerplate BS at the moment, just getting some basics. Alright, so if component equals null pointer, then we're going to return get collision map for type. Got object code map. We're just going to do object code map. What return? S unknown code. Return S unknown code. That's not what I want to do. I'm returning a type here. We want type none. So we need to get the components object code off of here. So just do 32 object code, and we're gonna check if our map has that object code in it. So we need to use that contains again. So if code map contains object code, then we are going to return that sub object code. Otherwise, we're going to return EG none. And why don't we just simplify this? If object is null pointer, or this is false, then we return none. Otherwise, we return that. So shorten that a little bit for us. And get object type for code. If this contains, actually we'll just call this. Simple enough. Your paper physics component. This is probably going to get pissed off about that, isn't it? Because physics utils doesn't know about that. So we're going to need to include paper physics component.h right up top. Or should we? It's just a pointer. Just do a class right in here. And then not include that frickin' header and include it here. Better compile times. Yeah, I don't know if anybody caught the end of my stream yesterday for Battle Brothers, but holy shit, we got our asses kicked. That was... I think some of the comments were just like, this is painful to watch. I'm just there watching all of my guys get beheaded. I'm just like, what have I done wrong? It was bad. It was very bad. Trying to play in expert mode and I'm just getting destroyed, getting massacred. It's like, who wants to be a part of my band of mercenaries? Like, everybody just like kind of turns around and goes, I don't think so. Alright, so the object code map is looking up the wrong thing, so we need the reverse lookup for the object code map. Well, it's archived. It's the last thing here on Twitch, so you should be able to grab it if you want it. I'm also going to be posting it to YouTube. What were they fighting? I was fighting a lot of shit. It really wasn't what I was fighting. It was like I got killed anyway. I think my favorite moment was object code reversement. It was when we were fighting some brigands, and one of the brigand, like it was a brigand leader, and he got stuck in a hole. Like we basically knocked him off a cliff, and like the area was generated pretty crap. So he got knocked into this hole, and I was surrounding him, and he's in a hole with like 3 people trying to murder him, and we just can't murder him. Like he ends up killing like 2 people from this fucking hole. Even though like he's in the hole, you're just like, you should be dead. We all have like this, you know, we have height advantage, we have everything, and he's just sitting there like, no, 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 you can't hit me. It was awful, but also just like really sad. And I think we fought some Naxezers who just like destroyed us as well. We had some really bad fights there. Like we're trying to figure out what we could take, because we got like pretty lucky.